week on Pinot Prose, we have Rhiannon Trail, the CEO and president of the Economic Club of Canada.
We're going to be checking out Ted Rogers' book, Relentless. He's a true inspiration to me, and I think that anyone who's looking to be an entrepreneur would find value in reading these stories. Oh.
So Rhiannon, if our viewers read this book, are they going to get the life story of Ted Rogers?
No, it's not a memoir. I'd say it's more a collection of stories of just his life and business and the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations that he experienced in building the empire that is Rogers. He experienced some major setbacks, but I think that's the beauty of the story is that you see someone like him who's so successful, and then you hear of these incredible setbacks that he had along the way, and you think, how did you not just give up? Mm-hmm. And the fact that he didn't and he kept pushing forward is what makes his story so unique and so amazing.
These are the things that worry me because I don't have one of those like rock bottom pit stories, and I feel like to be a successful person, you always have to have, like, I'm just now waiting for, I don't know, like to get in a car crash or something. Yeah.
Or you can get on the highway with me. I don't think that you have to have, these rock bottom failures in life in order to succeed, but I think you need to recognize that when you do, have something in your life that you feel that you can't overcome, that there's always hope and you can always get over to the next side. I think that's what he's trying to say.
There's really nothing standing in the way if it's something that you truly are passionate about and that you're willing to dedicate your life's work to. It's something that you'll be able to achieve if you put the work in.
I think the other thing that makes Ted Rogers so cool is he is someone who is very down to earth, and he was even like that in person. There's a story here that customer service was always number one to him. And so he used to go down to the fleet of trucks of the people that put the cable in, and he used to go down still, when he was in his 70s, and he would inspect each truck and see who kept their truck in best order, and he'd give them like $100 bill and say, thank you for, representing my organization this way. So just like that top-down approach that he just really cared for everyone as part of his organization, and he had a class and a way about him that you just don't see anymore.
Which makes a huge difference when like the people above you want you to feel just as good, even though, everyone's working hard for different reasons and in different ways, but to know that you can come together in some way makes such a difference for the whole company culture in general.
Totally. You have to feel valued, and I think that's, I think Ted saw value in what he did, and that's why he believed in what he was doing, and I think that he valued the people that helped him get there. And so he always said, I never forget where I came from because that's what shaped me into being the successful person I am today.
I found it really interesting too because he talks about, despite having an amazing education, not being always the smartest guy in the room or, the richest guy in the room, but he always was the most prepared person.
Yes, and I think that's such a great sort of message to give to future entrepreneurs and people who want to start their own businesses, because you don't have to have the Harvard degree. You don't have to be, the richest, smartest person in the room. But if you put the work in, if you're the most prepared, that's what's going to take you to the next level. That's what's going to make you successful.
And he didn't even have Google. Like, kids, we have Wikipedia. He had to go through books. Goodness knows the work that he had to do.
Library.
He had to wire the radio himself.
Seriously. All you have to do is Google. So, there's really no excuse not to be prepared.
There's no excuse.
There is no excuse.
You have to be prepared. Absolutely.
Damn it.
And he was.
If you had two key messages that you could take from the book, what would they be?
I think number one is that business is an art form, and it's a form of communication. And I think you have to love that, the art of making the deal. You have to strive to always be better and better each day, but love what you're doing in the moment. And number two, I would say, is take risks. Ted talks about having all of the bills that, he had to pay in a big hat and just pulling one out and only being able to pay that and just risking everything sometimes for the business. And I think you have to be calculated, but you have to take risks.
So Rhiannon, do you feel like those are two principles that you've applied to your own business?
You have to love what you do, and you have to love the people that are helping you do it. And so I've always taken the approach with the rest of my team to just make sure that everybody feels valued and that we're on the same page, going in the same direction. So that's definitely one thing. And then the other thing I would say is just that you gotta be the most prepared. You have to be. Be prepared. Make sure you are prepared. That's the one thing you have in your control. You gotta do it. Google.
Google's your friend, yeah.
Here's a picture of Rhiannon and Ted when Ted spoke at the Economic Club of Canada. If you would like to attend events, click on the link below. Picture of
Click on it. Dun, 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 dun. Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Okay,
Ted
we won't do
Rogers
that.
says
That's kind of lame.
subscribe.
Be prepared. Subscribe.
Ted Rogers is calling from the grave. Subscribe.